Hello and welcome back to the Entertainment Vortex. Today we were at Brennan Theaters watching The Incredibles 2. This movie is 14 years in the making. Ever since the first movie came out, everybody's been super excited to get a second movie. They even addressed it right before the movie. We had the stars of the movie were on screen talking about how it's been a long wait and they appreciate your patience. The last thing Samuel L. Jackson says before the movie starts is it was worth the wait, and he was right. It seems like everything Pixar touches is gold. Even the movies that they've done that weren't the greatest still are good movies. Pixar's quality level is through the roof, and this just goes to show that they didn't just drag their feet for the last 14 years. They were working on getting a solid script, and they were getting a solid movie put together, because not only was this more of the same, but it was a little different. Just different enough to feel familiar and yet exciting and new. It is the typical Pixar formula. You have a problem that needs to be solved. That problem is normally going to tug at your emotions a lot to get to the point. It's going to be very good at developing characters. It's going to be very good at developing your connection with the characters and their specific personal situation they're in, trying to relate to you as much as possible. One word that I would use to describe any Pixar movie, it is relatable. Even though you're watching a movie about superheroes and people with crazy powers, you still feel like these are people and you're relating to these people. And that goes for any movie, whether you're watching a movie with talking toys or whether you're watching a movie with some other wild, crazy idea that Pixar comes up with. You relate to the characters. And this is definitely no different.
So of Pixar's large, vast library that they've created up to this point with over a decade now of content creation for anywhere as your youngest child all the way up to your oldest adult, they've created a lot of fantastic movies. And of those movies, The Incredibles is my absolute favorite. It's a movie that stands the test of time. It's set in a time frame that's actually way previous to where we are currently. It does a really great job of bridging that gap and still making something that's got a lot of punch to it, regardless as to when you watch it. Going into this, I was super excited. You know, it was one of my most anticipated movies this year, and that says a lot considering Infinity War came out this year, Deadpool 2 came out this year. It was just something that I was really excited to see. I have to admit, right off the bat, the kid from the first movie says it the best. That was totally wicked. It was an absolutely outstanding film. Cover to cover, it was just exactly what I wanted and more. They don't miss a beat, and they pick things right back up where the story leaves off, and it does a really good job of creating a narrative that, while it's able to draw from the first movie as an influence, it also shows that they've kind of stepped their game up with some of the writing as well. The acting performances, while all being voice acting performances, were excellent. Craig T. Nelson and Holly Hunter both reprised their roles as Mr. and Mrs. Incredible, and they were both fantastic. A lot of emotions shown in their voice acting capabilities, and it makes it seem like the characters are more vibrant and real. They also brought on a couple of actors from Breaking Bad fame, Bob Odenkirk, who's also a big comedic actor as well, and Jonathan Banks. They had great roles on Breaking Bad, and I've seen them in way more things since they were in those. They knock it out of the park with their characters as well. Their voices are super recognizable. I was leaning over, saying, "Hey, that's Saul Goodman. Hey, that's Mike Ehrmantraut." I remember those characters vividly from that show, as it's one of my favorites. They did an excellent job standing up with a cast that was pretty much all reprised from their previous roles in the first movie.
The story is exciting. The villain is interesting. It was a little predictable. I kind of saw some of the twists coming, but it didn't take away from the fun of the movie. The movie is still extremely fun, extremely funny. All of their emotional beats work the way they're supposed to. All of the exciting and edge of your seat beats work the way they're supposed to. This movie just came together exactly the way I wanted it to. I want to see it again and again. Obviously, when it comes to acting, it's just voice acting, but it's superb. They got everybody from the first one back that makes an appearance. They got all the Incredibles back. They got the important characters surrounding them back. They really do a good job of picking up right where it left off. Matter of fact, it picks up literally right where it left off. So seconds later, you're starting this movie, which is amazing. We might have had 14 years pass, but in that universe, it's just been mere second. I enjoyed the ending, which is obviously really important in a Pixar movie because they got this crazy build-up, this emotional roller coaster. If you don't like how they resolve it, then the whole movie kind of falls apart. I do like the way they ended it. I like the way it was animated. They kicked up the animation style. There was a lot more shading. I actually watched the first Incredibles right before we went to see this Incredibles, specifically because it's been 14 years years, and I wanted to make sure that my memories were correct on it. And also, someone I had went to see this with had not seen it since the 14 years ago. So we wanted to make sure it was fresh in our minds. And I can see that they upped the animation style. Technology obviously is advanced in that time period. It's crisper. The shadows are more realistic. The lighting is more realistic. The details in the characters' costumes are more realistic. I don't think that they lost any of the stylized look doing this. I think it's a good mix between that stylized look they had in the first one and realism in the animation style. Just an amazing movie all around.
As Nick mentioned in his review, the animation style, they continue just to one-up themselves every time they step up to bat. It's something that I'm really appreciative of, you know, especially considering they're just coming off of Coco, which was very well animated. They had an interesting style that they chose to go with that, but they jumped right back into Incredibles and they made it something that was action-packed, something where the action sequences, while not feeling real because it's not based in reality, it had like an interesting vibe that you could really get behind and lose yourself in. And that's saying a lot considering it's an animated film. Usually Pixar is, you know, front of the pack when it comes to those types of things. It's something to be said when every time you step up to a new challenge, you're able to exceed people's expectations. Now, while that's not 100% true, being in, you know, the 95th percentile of that is a pretty excellent track record. At this point, Pixar could make a phone book and I would be first in line to see it.
So I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 10. In true Pixar style, they knocked it out of the park one more time. Now, hopefully, we won't have to wait another 14 years for Incredibles 3.
This is definitely excellent. It was worth the wait. I hope we don't have to wait any longer to see another one. I'm going to go ahead and agree with Nick on this one and give this a 10 out of 10. It was absolutely outstanding. I loved every minute of it. Can't wait to see the next one.
If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We do a minimum of 4 videos a week, including movie reviews, Funko Pop news, and a bunch of gaming content. If you're interested in getting one of our t-shirts, the link is down in the description. And as always, we hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.